because very recently we had the 36th anniversary for the American with Disabilities Act. Janet talked a little bit about this last week and the history behind it, the history behind the legislation, and kind of how it came to pass. I was invited to speak last week at the New Grade Walker Bowl, which is an annual celebration they have celebrating the American with Disabilities Act. And I was extremely impressed by a lot of things, specifically how tightly knit the community was, how much the disabled community there felt supported by their legislators, and the people in charge at the city level. I was really impressed by how much everybody felt they were in the same fight in doing it. And when I talked to people, they talked about how important it was that they were so tight-knit, that they thought a lot of their strength came from the fact that despite being a big city, they were so close. They made such efforts to connect with each other and stay connected. And I found that really inspiring and also really similar to a lot of the things we talked about here, about the importance of the community, about the importance of not just knowing your neighbor, but knowing your neighbor, being able to be a neighbor to them because you are on the same page about who you are, about how you want to live your life, or at least about the fact that you both want to live great lives and want to support each other in doing so. This isn't just seeing each other, it's recognizing each other, it's supporting each other. So I wanted to talk very briefly about the American with Disabilities Act. For anybody who doesn't know, in my professional life, I am a professional speaker, and I travel the state a lot speaking about autism and neurodiversity. Recently, I spoke at the Connecticut Library Association's annual conference. Soon I will be speaking at the New York Library Association's annual conference about neurodiversity, inclusion, how to create welcoming spaces, how to work and understand neurodiverse people. So I've done a lot of work about autism and neurodiversity, and through it, I've learned a lot about disability, but even more about disabled people. Specifically, ideas of empowerment, ideas of empowering people to do what they want, to take an element of control of their lives, to feel like they are in it, have that power. And so often when I talk about this, I can tell that people think I'm picking and choosing who I'm referring to. I'm referring to some disabled people, but not others. And I'm not. I'm referring to everybody. Empowerment is for everybody. And to think there's certain people it doesn't apply to only betrays a limited view of what empowerment means and what seeing each person as a full human being means. It may look different for everybody, but it is true, it is powerful, and it is for everybody. So the American with Disabilities Act is a piece of legislation that speaks to empowerment, that speaks to empowering and supporting the disabled community. But it does so in ways that are complicated. Growing up with the American with Disabilities Act, it was not a purely positive thing. It was actually fairly controversial, with a lot of discourse around how effective it had been, if it had truly achieved the goals it needed to, if it could achieve those goals in the form it was written and enforced. I've grown up around a lot of those conversations, and I do recognize as an adult that the American with Disabilities Act very much didn't fix everything. It didn't even fix most things. But what I see is not just legislation that made changes in physical ways we interact with the world, from ramps to being able to say you can't discriminate against me because of my disability. We can see those physical, real ways it impacted the world. But even more than that, I think that it doesn't just represent how far we've come or how far we have to go in actually making those changes. We have come so far, but we do still have more reasons to fight for disability rights, disability support for the individuals in our community. There seems to be more reasons by the day. So more and more when I look at the American with Disabilities Act, I don't see it as this just a piece of legislation, because I think the thing it truly represents is the culmination of a legacy of activism. The American Disabilities Act is about the activism that led to it. It is about decades, if not more, of disability activism in a moment where society admitted it's changed, where society finally put in writing things are different now. That even if everything's not perfect, there is clearly a push, a desire, a recognition that disability rights are important and vital to our communities. And it's not just the moment things change, it's the moment that disabled people change them. It's the moment that disabled people did something that every disabled person knows is the most terrifying thing in the absolute world. To look at someone and say, with no compromises, no apologies, this is me and you will accept me as I am. To say, you will look at us, no more looking away so you don't have to see us as full people. You will know us, no more hiding us away from the communities we belong in. You will accept us as we are because that is the only way we deserve to be accepted. We deserve nothing less than acceptance for who we truly are. The ADA, the American with Disabilities Act, might carry the signatures and names of politicians. It might carry the language of laws and statutes, but it carries the weight, the fingerprints of activism. It carries the sense that activists truly changed things by forcing everybody in the world to look at them through the Capitol crawl, through sit-ins, through rallies like ours, and said, you will see us as we are and accept us that way. We have a legacy of activism behind us and a future of activism ahead of us. The American with Disabilities Act is a reminder of that and what we can accomplish together. I hope we will take this anniversary as an opportunity each year to remember that we can truly build a better world for disabled people. We can do that, just like those who have come before us. But we have to get out there and we have to make them proud. Thank you.
Woo!